On our Rick Steves tour, we did a walking and bus tour around Paris in the fall. The hotel we stayed at was in the Montmarte area. We really liked this area. It's a nice area, but shall we say a little bit rougher than some of the other places. But then again, what would you expect in a place that has the Moulin Rouge? We liked this area so much that when we went back to Paris on our own, we stayed at the same hotel. Montmartre isn't just the highest land point in Paris. It's my favorite place. Maybe because it's just so artsy and it has a history like with the Impressionist painters like Renoir, Manet, Van Gogh, Degas, and Pissarro kind of all either lived here or close to this area. They frequented the cafes, and some of their paintings are of this area. You walk around here and there are all kinds of artists trying to convince you to buy their artwork. It's all very good, but also a little expensive. Napoleon was not a fan of Montmartre, probably because of its association with the counter-revolutionary movement during his reign. These are the views from the Montparnasse Tower, if I'm saying that correctly. When it was completed in 1973, the tower was the tallest building in France, but a lot of Parisians didn't like it. It was almost universally disdained for its hulking presence and incongruous scale. But the views up here are amazing. On to Sainte Chapelle. Sainte Chapelle was built in the middle of the 13th century by Louis IX, future Saint Louis. I should say Louis, I'm sorry. It was specifically built to house the most important relics of the Passion of Christ, the crown of thorns, and a fragment of the true cross. Obviously, I have no idea if they're really here. Damaged during the Revolution, the chapel later on became a laboratory for the restoration of historical monuments in the 19th century. They did a lot of practicing here on how things would get better in restorations later on. The Place de la Concorde is the largest square in the French capital, and this is where the Bastille was, which was destroyed in 1789. Today, the outlines of the fortress are marked by special paving stones in the street. In 1793, it was the site of many notable public executions, including those of the Carmelite martyrs of Compiègne, Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, Maximilien Robespierre. And during the French Revolution, the square was temporarily renamed the Place de la Révolution. Hard to believe this is where the French Revolution started with the storming of the Bastille, which was again torn down. But as Rick Steves puts it, it's the most famous place with nothing to see. From this location, you can see the Eiffel Tower, palaces, government buildings, entranceway to the Louvre. It's quite a central point, and it has its own metro stop. A cemetery walk, but not the one with Jim Morrison. This person was a pioneer in film preservation. No need to identify this, it's the Rue Morgue. The Les Galeries Lafayette. This place is massive and massively expensive. Look hard, you'll see the Blues Brothers. Outside the Louvre. They say this is the world's largest art museum and historic monument. I have no idea if that's true. But there are 38,000 objects from prehistory to the 21st century. Notre-Dame Cathedral, this was long before the fire. This is around the area of the Notre-Dame Cathedral. The nice thing about these on-off buses is if you miss something, you just sort of stay on. A fire in April of 2019 caused serious damage, closing the cathedral for extensive and costly repairs. It reopened in December of 2024. You can hit the Latin Quarter from around here and the Saint Michael Fountain. Now, I am sure that I am not pronouncing this correctly, but this is the Dame des Invalides, which is the tomb of Napoleon. Now, I always thought the Dame des Invalides was just the tomb of Napoleon, and that's not the case. King Louis Philippe ordered the repatriation of Napoleon's remains from St. Helena to be buried here in 1840. It's a way to honor the former emperor and solidify his legacy within French national identity. The tomb was constructed within an existing chapel, which is topped by a large prominent dome. Other people who are buried here are Napoleon's son, two of his brothers, a French military leader like Marshal Foch, and other dignitaries, the author of the French national anthem. And in a strange little bit of weirdness, Vauban, a French Royal Army officer and engineer, has his heart buried in one of the side chapels. Just the heart. Also, there is a Museum of the Army here. An Enigma machine, which was the famous coding device that the Germans used during World War II. Only the French could make blowing somebody up sexy. The Arc de Triomphe. We actually walked here from the Concorde down the entire length of the Champs-Élysées, and it's right in the center of a roundabout or rotary in America. And it's like the scene in the Griswold's European Vacation. You get trapped here, good luck. The Arc honors those who fought and died for France in the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars, with the names of all the French victories and generals inscribed on its inner and outer surfaces. Beneath its vault lies the tomb of the unknown soldier from World War I. There's 280 steps to the top, something I could not do anymore. It was pouring out, but I did not care. There was just no way that I was not going to try to get up here. This is an amazing city to visit.